How's everyone doing with their calls since our last session?
So I can go first on this one. A
Sure.
lot better.
Yeah.
So what I do is I keep your unscript beside me. So I just use it as a talking points. I'm like, okay, at this point, this point, this point. So if I get stuck, I kind of just go back to them like, okay, this is kind of what I need to follow. So that's really been helping me. I've been able to connect with many people, and I have been doing follow-ups with that. So it definitely helped change my mindset a lot.
Good. Yeah, because you were, previous to that session, you weren't really calling because you weren't sure what to say or how to handle that conversation, correct?
No, I wasn't. So listening to Donna talk about it, listening to Bev talk about it. So
Mm-hmm.
being able to bring both of those together with having the unscript beside me, I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's just jump into this. Let's see what's going to happen. And every time I connect with someone, I just get a little more confident each time.
Good. Good. And that's exactly what will happen for everyone out there that's a little hesitant about picking up the phone. It's just, you just keep doing it. It's like riding a bike, right? You get on, you're wobbly, not so great, but before you know it, you know exactly what to do.
And I think, Bev, one of the things I took away, which I'd kind of been doing, but it's just in my notes, really making sure I dated each conversation or each connection so that when I just pop up the file, I don't have to go think or anything. It's like, oh, I talked to them 3 weeks ago, or, oh, this is what I did 3 weeks ago. I don't have to go scouring through to figure out and get prepped for each call because I took that away. I was doing that and I'm like, yeah, no, just pick up the phone because half the time you don't talk to them more than once a month until you build that relationship. And since our call, actually, I have a first time set of buyers that I'm just ready to start sign a BRA, and that's progress. So we've been out looking. Yeah.
What's the price point on that?
They're looking at about a six to 650 price point, 650,000. So it's going to be a slim pickings, but we'll find them something because they are patient, which is good, and they're actually really smart in asking lots of questions. They're not unrealistic, shall we say? At least so far. That's what I'll say. At least so far. And persistence has paid off because there's this one fella that I just keep going back to each time I get a little nugget of info. It's like usually a 30-second time block that I get with him. So again, that persistence that you just talked about is like ask some questions, get some info. So it's just building more of a profile for him. So we're getting closer.
Well, and even with that buyer, if you do have that shortage of inventory, this is where you can really exercise that above and beyond and looking for off-market properties. Go back into your multi-list, put their criterias in, and pull homes that sold back in 2015, 2014 that haven't transacted yet. So if your average market time frame of living in a home is like 7-ish years, you're hitting people that have potential of making that move in the very near future, and sending letters, door knocking, whatever it is that you choose to do, but taking their criteria and just play matchmaker. and with doing that, it brings about a confidence that changes the way that we talk to leads as well, because then we have this belief system that I'm going above and beyond, and I really want to help you find a home. The market is very competitive and there's not a lot on the market. And even if you find the home that you want, we're going to have the competition in writing the offer. And I can't even guarantee you that we're going to get that one home that may pop up in your criteria.
Definitely above and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Good, thank you.
And that's where really reaching for, and I don't even like to say reaching for, but looking to get referrals from people before your current clients even close. That's when you know you win. People are sending referrals before they've even actually closed. And when you're going above and beyond like that, and the communication is so great, they can't help but to talk about you to anybody that's just part of their, like, I can't believe I have this realtor that's like doing this. Like, she called me the other day and said that she was having this conversation with this person that might be selling. You can't replace that kind of branding. I just had to interject that.
No, true.
Mm-hmm. All right, who else? I think Jeffrey is on here.
Yeah, Jeff is right there.
Yep. I don't know if Jeff hears us.
Oh, no, I hear you. It's just we're all named
Well,
Jeff.
there's other, like, it's
Oh,
not, no, I think they're all
everybody
using the
Jeffrey.
same accounts. We've got
Now
Jeffrey, the real
The
Jeffrey,
real
and another Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. Oh my goodness. I just looked at that. That is so funny.
Yeah, it's, they're all using the same link. Does anyone else want to tell us how they made out?
You don't want to hear how I made out, so.
Oh,
What's the
All
goal
right.
today? What is the rock in your shoe that I can help with today?
Send me $1 million check.
If I could, I would.
We just have to bring this team to production as fast as possible. Very honest.
And where do you see, I'm going to call it the hitch in the giddy up? What do you see needs or could use improvement?
Well, I'm going to leave this for the team to answer. Because if I say something, may not, Diana is looking at me very strangely. Jeff is looking at me in a different angle. Cyrus is not saying anything. So let's them. And
So,
Amir is
so
not even
tell
here.
me
So let
what-
them to sort
Yeah,
of.
tell me what you feel needs to improve to increase either A, the amount of conversations, B, your production. What is it that can be helpful?
Cyrus.
The main challenge which I'm seeing is the response from the leads which is being generated. If we get in contact with them once, then second time they don't answer our phone. And that's the biggest challenge right now. So what's the best way? Even though when you're sending text also, okay, through a system, it is automatic, the texts are going, even I do myself also, I'm texting the leads, they're not responding.
Mhm.
And they are still looking at the properties because we got a notification from the website
Mhm.
that this lead is looking for this property, this is the MLS number.
Mhm.
And we try to call them, they don't respond.
Yep.
So this is the biggest challenge that I'm facing right now.
So I'm going to ask the question of why do you feel it's a challenge and not just part of the process?
Why is challenge? It is a good question. To convert a lead to prospect a lead to proceed towards the buying property or selling property, that's productive which we are looking for. I'm not getting it, you know. We are putting our time, okay, we are putting our energy over there, but still productive is not there.
Okay.
But that's a challenge over there.
So when we're looking at our dashboard collectively, how many leads do you have in your bucket that you're responsible for?
136 or 160. I don't know exactly the number, but it's around between 136 to 160.
Okay. So when we're looking at, let's just say 160, right?
Right.
We have 160 different situations of where people are in the moving process. In regards to why I asked why we're looking at it as a challenge and not part of the process, is it's easy for our minds to say, this is the challenge because nobody's buying. I have 160 leads. I'm not able to convert any of these. it's not about so much converting them to a buyer or a seller today. It's finding out where they are in the process to build that future pipeline. Because what we're doing today is where we're going to be in 60 to 90 days. So if we get hung up on looking at the process as a challenge, it's always going to be work. Who likes to work? I don't like to work. I like to have fun. So if we're looking at it as part of the process and realizing there's 160 different families here that are going to be buying or selling at some point, where am I going to be fitting into their process of timeline? So do you shop on Amazon Prime?
Yes, I do.
Is there anything that you've put in your Amazon cart that you didn't purchase?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Just like people going online and looking at homes. There's not an urgency there that is great enough to make you hit buy now. I just did it the other day. I have this one lotion scent that I love. I bought a little sample. I put the bottle in my cart. It's still sitting in my cart. I don't have an urgency that I have to have the body lotion. And really the only thing sometimes that makes us take the action and buy now is we have to have the gift under the tree on December 25th. We have to have the gift to the person on their birthday. But with buying a house, there's no time frame. It's like a pregnancy. Like, okay, I have a due date, but that baby could come a month before. It can come 2 weeks later. It can come on the due date. We don't know when that baby's going to come. We just know the baby's going to come. So when we're looking at people that are engaged just because they're interested in what's happening with the market, you are not yet the priority for them to go, oh, I got to text him back, or, oh, I have to call him back, because they're not in that urgent space of making that purchase yet. They're not intentionally ignoring you. They're not intentionally not responding to you. They're just living their life with what is the priority in front of them right now.
Let me ask you a question, Bev. Which state you said you're in right now?
Atlanta, Georgia.
It could be very dry this time of year, right? So you need maybe a cream or something, right?
Okay.
So you may want to go back to your Amazon and hit the button.
Take that
right?
urgency, right?
Oh, it's gonna hit you. You're gonna wish you had that cream before you got dry skin,
And that's
not
what happens.
after.
It happens a lot, and
Yeah.
people get caught up. I mean, I'm literally talking, because it was the leader, I'm literally talking like an $18 bottle. But when we're looking at real estate, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That's what I was trying to say. Yes, maybe I created the urgency in your point of view right now, but the property or buying a real estate is completely different urgency, different.
Absolutely. But to your point, that's exactly what our objective is. If you live in Atlanta, it's getting a little dry. It's usually humid there in the summer, but it's getting a little bit dry right now. You might want to get that cream. Are you going out of town? Yeah, shit, I'm going out of town like on Friday. Oh, if I order it now, I order it now, I'm not going to have it before I go away. Right? And that is what our job is, to engage with people on the other side to find out what is their hesitation, what is their plan. And just like those people that say, just looking, great. Well, what exactly are you looking for? If you were to make that move, what does that look like hypothetically? And let's not worry about them not calling back or not responding. They're just not yet.
And to that point, Bev, I had a really good example of that happen. And I mean, I told you guys about it. One of the leads we finally connected, and she's not ready right now. But we started to build the rapport. So we had a face-to-face meeting, and we laid out a whole game plan, and now I know what her timeline is. And so we touch base like every 3 to 4 weeks, and then we're going to meet in the new year. Where are you? And she's really engaged because I took the time to figure out, where are you in the process? How, and to, I think, you know, like, where are you in the journey, and how can I help you in that journey?
Yep.
And like, that's she's a perfect example of, she's not there yet, but she wants help along the way. And so we have a rapport. I mean, I talked to her via text today because she sent me a dream property. I was out this weekend. I saw this property. Oh my God, it's my dream. Help me get it. And it's just, and it was just all about timing. So
That's what it is. We just get very anxious, and we don't think it's working because we don't see the results as quickly as we want to see them. And I know you had something to say, the other Jeffrey.
That would be Cyrus. She's talking to you, Cyrus.
You were raising your hand.
Oh, well, it's Cyrus. I don't know why my name is Jeffrey over here.
That's okay.
Anyway, among those number of leads which I have successfully, I'm in connection with the 2, 3 of them. Okay, I spoke to them several times, but the problem is that when I'm talking about the price, or I'm asking them, do you want to go and look at the property? So they're asking the price which is in the market is unrealistically, and they want to know what the actual value of the property, because these days in entire Ontario, all the listings are are listed below market price. And when you put an offer, it goes to bidding war and still sells the market price. But buyers are not willing to accept if we are telling them the truth about the market price also. So that's the biggest challenge that now I'm having with my 3 deeds, in fact, and they're not moving. So how can I convince them? How can I tell them that going through me, I'll make sure that you purchase a property at the market price? What wording should I use?
That's that value proposition. And, you know, I always say our job is to not fix problems. Our job is to educate, to give them as much information as possible for them to be able to make educated decisions. So the more information we can give to them, and the more that we can encourage them to understand what's going on with the market, the more you're building that trust and showing your value. I see so much in this industry of, what offer do I need to write to win this? Well, if it's at a $600,000 price point, you got to write the offer for $700,000, without really clearly identifying what that process looks like and why. So the more we're able to ask the lead what their expectations are, because you hear people say, oh, I'm just looking for a great deal. Well, I know what I think a great deal is, but my great deal may not be your great deal. So tell me what that great deal looks like. So if we're always questioning, we're always putting that answer on the lead and not looking at it as a problem, not looking at it as a challenge, but looking at it as, tell me what your expectations are. What are you looking for? And my job is to be honest with you and open with you to say, yeah, that ain't going to happen. This is why. This is our market. These are the last 5 homes that have closed. And this was the story of the last 5 homes that closed. So if your expectations are this is the reality. Is this the proper time for you to want to be buying a home? Because if we're going to make it happen, this is what has to happen. And if that doesn't fall in alignment with your expectations, you may want to wait and not buy right now. Is that helpful? So it's not our job to convince them. It's not our job to fix the problem or tell them. It's our job to help them understand the market, because everyone has a perception based on their reality. And especially those home buyers that have bought 4 homes before. They know how to do it. They don't need you. But they do, because they don't understand the market today, because when they bought 6 years ago, ain't the same. But they think they know. So their perception of their reality is not the actual reality of the market. So there's nothing better than proof. So instead of us spinning our wheels trying to show them a home that doesn't exist in the market, this is what the reality is. And really knowing your market stats, because what we see happening here in the States right now is the buyers became conditioned to look at price ranges below their budget, so they had room to escalate. When homes are now pricing, they're pricing at the proper budget, but they're getting missed because the buyers are still conditioned to look below. So the homes that are priced where they probably should be are seeing price reductions. So let's say, for example, you have a $680,000 home that if it was listed at $600,000, it would have escalated to $680,000. But because it's listed at $680,000, it's getting missed because the people that can afford it are looking under that mark. So you go, oh, tactical maneuver. Let's look over the price point that you're looking for. There's no competition because these prices are coming down and they're sitting on the market much longer. But there's no way for us to know this if we're not paying attention to the market and looking to be that problem solver to go outside the box of the normal. And again, even going back to what Dana was saying, as far as finding out what it is they are looking for and being able to recognize and think outside the box for their situation, because everybody's situation is totally different. We just have to have that confidence to be able to go at them with the reality. Not your perception, not their perception, but this is what's just happened in the market. These ones were under contract and they were this many days on the market. I don't know what they've sold for yet. These ones have sold and they sold this much over.
I had a conversation just before we got on a call, Beverly, with a potential. His name is Rogers. He was looking for a townhouse. That's all he wanted. That's all he wanted. That's all he wanted. When I finally got him on the phone today for about 10 minutes, I was talking to him about the market and his budget. He told me what his pre-approval was, and I basically told him good luck in a nice way. And I said, but based on the market stats, what you just told me is we can get you into a condo apartment with everything that you've told me you want. So can we look there? Is that an option? Oh, okay, sure. If it's in the same kind of area, it's not my first choice. Can we still look for townhouses? So it opened up a new lane for his brain to look at. And so he's at least open to that conversation.
And it is, because it comes down to what's more important to you, price or location. Because if you're not willing to alter either of those, you might need to wait. Because if it's price, we may need to change your location. If it's location, we may need to change your price. If you can't change your price and come up, you may need to wait. But we get into that mode, or we get into that rut where, all right, this is what they want, so I have to make this happen. How am I going to make this happen? Because they're so unrealistic. So we literally create our own problems. Was that helpful, Cyrus? Thank you for changing your name.
Yes.
So I just challenge you all to not look at the process as a challenge or a problem. It's just part of the process. Because here's the thing, Cyrus, if
every single one of those 160 people said, I want to buy tomorrow, what the hell would you do?
Oh, I'll be happy.
How could you do it though? How could you legitimately show 160 people a home tomorrow?
Well, I'll ask my team to share with me and give them the
So-
share.
Yeah, the reason I say that is we do really get caught up in, oh my God, these leads, they're just, nobody's doing this. Nobody's responding back to me. And that's why I asked you how many leads you had in your bucket, right? Because it's easy to look at 160 people. We have 3 people that we're nurturing that aren't corresponding. And my challenge is nobody's responding, when in reality, it's only 3 people. But it's easy to get caught up in that lingo, and it's easy to feel that because we dwell on the negative. It's just our nature. We don't exercise that win of celebrating the one that we did have a conversation with, the one that we did find out what their situation was. And to your point, like you said, you do have people in the pipeline that are a few months out. I get extremely excited when they don't answer the phone because that's more phone calls I can make and more other people I can talk to. So part of that process is asking them, and this is the most important thing on your follow-up and nurtures. Everybody asks me, when do I call them? What do I say to them? Ask them first. When you have that conversation with them, how often would you like me to follow up? What is most important for me to get into your hands that you would like to stay updated on? How would you like me to follow up with you? What's your preferred form of communication? Call, text, or email? How would you like me to check in? Remembering objective number 1, find out where they are in the process. Objective number 2, keep them engaged. And that whole process is we want to prevent them from doing any more Google searches because we want to keep them engaged with your emails. So the reality, I can have a conversation with you and you can tell me you want to receive the emails, you want to receive the updated searches. And yes, I want to get an email once a week, please. We depend on the communication, and that objective of keeping them engaged, if we're depending on communication and we're not paying attention, those emails can very easily go to spam, and they haven't seen a one of them. So in that follow-up and nurture process, explaining to them expectations. How would you like me to follow up? This is what's going to happen. How often do you want to receive new listing alerts? Once a week. Great. You're going to be getting an email from me once a week. What I'm going to do, because emails go to spam, I'm going to check in with you in a few weeks. Is that okay? Just to make sure that you're getting the emails. They always say yes. No one's ever going to say no. Once in a while, you may get, I'm going to be out of town for Christmas. Can you call me after January? Absolutely. Or after December. Absolutely. How about if I reach out to you like the second week in January? Does that work? Great. Because what we have to understand, and I want each one of you to do this, everybody that's listening, you don't have to do it right this second. I want you to go into your spam in your Gmail and look at how many emails are in there of shit that you subscribed to a while ago and forgot. Because what happens in our email servers, let's say, for example, you talk to a lead today and you get them set up on a search. We are legit 2 weeks from Christmas. Well, actually, like what, 10 days from Christmas. People are leaving to go out of town. People have bigger priorities right now if they're next year out. So they may not be as engaged opening the emails. So the email server says after they didn't open up the last 3 emails, it's not an important email to that person. So I'm going to start sending it to spam. they don't even know it and they don't even realize it. So it's our job to make sure that they maintain that engagement and not sit there and go, what the hell happened to this person? They didn't even log in anymore. I've left them 3 voicemails. I've texted them. They're not even logging in. They may not even know, but you're not yet a priority because they got life happening to them. And I can speak very passionately about this because I was that person. When I had my home in Virginia and I was looking for a second home in Atlanta, I didn't have to have it. I was one of them damn leads in your database. You're like, oh God, she's looking for the unicorn in the pet shop. She doesn't know what she's looking for. Is she ever going to buy? I didn't know if I was going to buy. So set me up on a search. And the unfortunate thing is the agent set me up just to receive multi-list listings where I couldn't go in and change it, manipulate it because I didn't like what was being sent. I changed my search criteria because I'm like, I don't like that. So I stopped looking at emails and I went to someone else's dashboard. And then my friend called. Now this was from March to August. So this was March, April, June, July, a 5-month process. And what happened was my friend called me and says, Bev, you've got to check out this condo over at Wildwood Forest. I'm like, oh my God, I was that crazy person that looked at it 50 times and shared it with 3 of my friends. But nobody knew because they weren't paying attention to their dashboard. But I was legitimately that person. Just let me look. I'll probably know it when I see it. But had that agent had me set up on a proper search, had that agent communicated with me properly, I did get an email from that agent. And do you know what he told me? Now, I was training for this company, just like Agent Locator, right? I was training for this company. So that was a platform I had internally in my real estate business. He knew I was a trainer. He knew I was a real estate agent, and he knew I had the system. He legitimately sent me an email and he said, I cannot believe you've not called me back. I cannot believe that you haven't texted me. I don't know why you're not responding to me, but it's very rude. I'm sorry, I'm busy. I didn't want to give that agent my business at that point. Because what? He made it about him. I'm sorry, but me buying a second home is not about you as the agent. It's about how you can help me go from, just like Dana said, I was looking at townhomes. I ended up buying a condo, but no one explained the process to me of what I could get for my money if I looked at a condo. So what I'm saying in this is, yes, I didn't respond to him. I had a lot of life happening to me. I didn't know if I was selling my home. I didn't know if I was going to keep my home, if I was going to rent my home out. I had no idea what was going on in my life. So for me to have a conversation with the agent, I didn't know. I didn't even know what to tell him. I'm like, I don't know. And how much do we hear on the other side of the phone? Oh, I'm so not ready. I don't want to waste your time. I don't even know what I'm looking for.
That's an opportunity to have a great conversation when they say that, because they just opened the door for you to ask a million questions. Okay, so what would that look like when you are ready?
Yes.
If it was the perfect time, where would you like to find this new home? Like I get it, actually, I love it when they say that, because then we end up with a really cool conversation happening.
Yeah, because then you can really open that door to get to know them, understand their expectations, and really identify the importance of building that relationship. But we forget to build relationships because we're so quick to just want to convert. So yeah, it's definitely, what can I be doing in the meantime? I know that you're just in the information gathering process. So good news for you, Cyrus, is I'm still going to be doing real estate 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I don't care when you buy. I just want to know what can I do in the process to earn your business? What's important to you? And just think about that compound effect of that snowball, right? When you pick up that snowball and you make that little ball, you need more snow to make it bigger. And then you need more snow to make it even bigger. And the more you roll that ball, the bigger that snowball gets, which is just like our leads. The more conversations we have, the more that we're putting people into our pipeline, and the bigger we're building our business. So what you're doing today is building for your spring, and what you're doing for spring is building your fall, and what you're doing for fall is then, so it just ends up being a cyclical cycle that we don't ever want to give up on, because as soon as we give up on, in 60 to 90 days, you'll be like, why don't I have any business? Oh gosh, I took that month off. That was a lot of information. What are you thinking?
One of the things, to your point on the spam and the email, one of the things I've been trying lately, and it's actually got a little bit more engagement, is I will select like a property out of one of the last emails that they got, and I'll do the pick a listing and say, hey, did you see this one? It just speaks to me. It sounds like your personality. Any thoughts? Like, am I off base? And I just, it opens the door to help me like fine tune a little bit with them. And sometimes it turns into a conversation, sometimes nothing. But what I have noticed is it gets them to be more active in their looking for the next little bit.
And if you take that one step further and do that with all of your bad phone numbers, you're going to improve your engagement. Because 99% of all the agents trash their bad phone number leads because they don't think that they're a good lead. In reality, some of them are just typos. So all we need is to get someone to raise their hand. So if you go back and look at a bad phone number filter, who's actively engaged, and do that exact same process. Hey, I saw, you were looking at some homes, and this one really struck out to me that it might be something that would be of interest to you. Let me know if you'd like to go take a look at it. It's a really interesting, before I got into real estate, it was one of I Pampered Chef in my former life. It was one of my past hosts that did Pampered Chef. And she always did shows for me like 2-3 a year. And she just gotten a real estate license. She's like, Bev, I just got my real estate license. I want to go look at homes. Would you go look at homes with me? I'm like, yeah, that sounds like fun. Offer it. Offer it to people. Everybody likes to look at a home. And honestly, for us to really know our market, we should be previewing homes anyway.
There's another problem that we are facing in Toronto is this. Hey, I've been in this business for a long time, but the problem that we are facing right now, even according to everybody, from every family that you are in contact, or you are trying to be in contact, for every family, there is 1 or 2 real estate agents. Believe me, it's not like US. The population is too vast to have that much real estate licensed people or active people. In Toronto, in Ontario,
NR says the average person knows 11 real estate agents.
Exactly. But even in Toronto, for every family, believe me, every family may have 3 or 4 agents in the family. Forget about knowing people.
How did that happen?
Why we are seeing Jeff's
Sorry, my bad. I pressed the wrong button.
Little hamster.
At least you didn't get the filter, because you can add the animations, or you can have you can make yourself.
Well, thanks God we didn't see anything else.
That's what I was worried about.
So, and that's a great point. How do we overcome that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
My favorite one for that in regards to family is family how I usually bring it up, and I'm trying to think of how I'm going to pull this out. When I'm talking to a lead and they say, oh, my brother's an agent, or oh, so-and-so in my family's an agent, say, I totally respect that. I don't want to take business away from anybody. I just want you to realize what happens in the world of real estate. The competition is very fierce. And when it's a family member, they tend to not think they have to work as hard for you because there's no competition. So I just want to make sure that you 100% trust the fact that they're going to work as hard for you as an actual full paying customer. Because it doesn't cost you anything to have an agent. So if anything were to change, I would love the opportunity to earn your business, and I don't mind talking to your family member and offering a referral fee. And that's how I would deal with it. Are you going to convert everybody? No, but you're raising that question.
Well, don't worry about it. These days in Toronto, there's a lot of people that are calling me. It's swear to God, I'm not. People calling, they say, if you are giving us some kickback from your commission, we will definitely buy a house with you. Don't worry about it. They in Toronto, they say it before even if you want to say sort of anything like that. Oh, such and such actually offered me 1% of their commission. Would you if you are matching that, I will buy with you. Well, I have a good answer for them anyway, but hey,
And I respect that.
This
Let
is
me
how
just
it's
ask
happening
you.
in Toronto.
I respect that. Let me just ask you, if you showed up for work tomorrow and your boss said to you, I'm cutting your wage down to a quarter of what you're making moving forward, how would that make you feel?
Well, I have a better answer for you. You know what I tell them usually when they tell me that?
What?
I tell them, sure, I can do that, but I'm going to be 1% then owner in your house, if that's okay with you. And whenever you sell it, I'm getting 1%. Oh, I'm paying for it. No, I'm paying for it too. You know, I'm giving you my some money back. But anyway, this is the reality in Toronto, Bev.
Well, and I like to spin that back on them, because in the absence of value is where compensation's questioned. So if they don't feel that they're getting full value, they're going to
they don't. Most of them, they don't even appreciate the value. Most of them, they don't even understand the value. They're just looking at the dollar sign. That's it.
Exactly. And that's why I like to put it back on them with their job and make it very real to them. That if you went into work tomorrow and your boss decreased your pay, would you still have the same passion showing up every day, giving your full time and attention to that job, getting paid less? Anybody in their right mind is going to say no. Anybody that's willing to reduce their commissions is not going to give you the full level of value to save you thousands of dollars on your next purchase. Because choosing the wrong agent can literally cost you thousands of dollars. Are you curious as to how choosing the wrong agent could cost you thousands of dollars? And then when they say yes, that opens that door to be able to say, it's very strategic buying a home. We get caught up in the 3 bedrooms, the 2 bathrooms, the location, the. What we're not sometimes thinking about is, how old is the roof? How old is the hot water heater? Are you going to have to put more money into the home after the purchase that you weren't expecting? That can cost you thousands of dollars that you were not expecting if the agent is not looking out for your 100% best interest. It can cost you extra money. So yes, to your point, the average person does not understand. They don't know. And I go back to the days when I was studying for my real estate license. I didn't know jack squat about real estate. And I learned a little bit of what I really didn't need to know in the real estate course, but I remember sitting there thinking, I don't even know how the freak I get paid. I don't even know like what a percentage of what is, or the difference between a broker, an associate broker, a real estate agent. I didn't know any of that. But all of a sudden, when I got my real estate license, when I knew it, I thought everybody else knew. I thought I was the only blooming idiot that didn't know how real estate agents got paid. Because I thought everybody in my world, all my clients, I thought they knew everything that I knew because I now know it. So I always bring it back to, it's always our responsibility to educate, because people make decisions a lot of time for the wrong reasons. And they've made that decision and then it's too late. So many times I hear the buyer's under contract and they're like, oh my God. And I'll tell you what really happens is when they do not choose the advice of using your own lender. I cannot stress enough the importance of having those relationships to create the experience overall. But I will tell you, if they do not choose our lender, more chances than not, when we get close to the closing table, they have an issue with their lender. They're like, oh my God, I wish I would have used your lender because of blah, 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 blah. So a lot of times people make decisions for all the wrong reasons. It's up to us to educate them and be okay not having the expectation of the win and of the conversion, but have the expectation of educating them a little bit to let them at least realize they have a choice. Anybody that has a family member as an agent, they don't think they have a choice.
Did you talk to my family? They just ignored me. My family goes everywhere else. Ray knows the story the most. Yeah, I had another one yesterday, Ray. My family no, you're not an agent. No, you're still Pampered Chef Girl. Yeah, whatever. I'm like, yeah, no, my family must be the only one in the world that doesn't look to family for real estate. But to your point of education, I had a really cool conversation with a lead who was ready to give up. She's like, I can't get a mortgage. And so it was like, what do you mean you can't get a mortgage? She was not using any of the resources that we had talked about. She was going online. She was using automated tools and she was using only her own income. Anyways, I dove into it more and it created a huge opportunity to ask a million questions. And so I gave her hope in that it's like, okay, we need to have a meeting with our lenders. And here's what you need to try to do. And it was like, how many people are going to live in the house? Is it just you? And everybody, no, there's 4 adults. Okay, so do they all work?
Yep.
Yes. Will they all be contributing? Yes. So it was an opportunity to educate her on all hope is not lost. If they're all going to move in with you, then you guys can all own this. And it'll be amazing as to what you can discover is achievable now when you think, but again, to your point of, she just didn't know. And so it's our job. That's part of our job. I know we don't get paid right away for it, but like we have to educate them so that we can help them. If we can't educate them, then we'll never be able to help them, is the way I look at it.
And you said something very powerful right there. We get so caught up in the expectation of the closing and the money that we receive that we forget to fall in love with the process. And we need to shift that fulfillment that we receive based on giving people education and having the high be, I was able to share this knowledge with somebody. They may not choose me, but now they know. And that's so powerful. And I remember when my coach, I'm like, oh my God, I just want to freaking play Mozart. I don't want to go through the process. I just want to get to the closing table. Well, we have to learn how to play chopsticks, to play Mary Had a Little Lamb, to play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, to play that very first sheet of music. And it's a process that we have to learn to fall in love with to be able to practice that craft. Because if we don't learn how to play chopsticks, we ain't ever going to learn to play Mozart. But it's a growing process. And if we really learn to adapt to that fulfillment of the education piece, of that training piece, we're going to position ourselves to win a whole heck of a lot more often in those conversations. So yeah, my coach told me years ago, Bev, stop being attached to the outcome and fall in love with the process. And I'm like, F the process. But we really do have to switch that, flip that switch and enjoy those conversations and realize most people don't think they have a choice, which is why I love the people that say, I have an agent. Great, tell me how that process has been going. Because inquiry minds want to know. I want to know if you're enjoying the process or if you think it's a pretty shitty process. And that great line of when you have someone in that situation of, I don't know if I can get, well, I can't make any promises and I don't know what this is going to look like. But the one thing that I can guarantee you is an educated buyer is the smartest buyer. Nothing gained, nothing lost. Talk to the lender. Talk to somebody, talk to the credit repair person. Let's put a plan together and see what we can make happen. Because if we don't know what we don't know. So what does this look like? And always going back to that infamous line, what can I do to earn your business? That is the most important question to have in your tool belt. Because it really covers a myriad of leads in any step of the process. And I catch myself saying it all the time. All my job is to earn your business. What can I do? And honestly, it does turn off some people because they don't know what they want from you. And they don't know how to respond to that. And some people aren't used to people being kind to them. And some people just don't know how to receive that. And I'm sorry, I want to work with people that respect what I do. So when we get to a place of calling leads and we're no longer in that scarcity mindset and we're calling leads because we choose who we want to work with, it changes the game. But the only way we know how to choose is to ask the right questions. So just being a little bit better than your competition, I pulled quickly. I'm just going to share my screen real fast here. When I'm going through dashboards and I'm assessing them, I go to the leads that are in no new lead or tried to contact, because I want to see how many leads have never been spoke to. And it's usually going to be the majority of your database. But where are those leads in the database? How long of a span are these leads that haven't been spoken to? And then, okay, do they have a phone number? Are they a lead that I could actually call? And then I narrowed it down even more to being active over the last 30 days. So this, I'm sure, was a test lead. But let's just look at a couple of these quickly. 10 phone calls, yay. 13 phone calls, yay. 1 phone call. 5 phone calls, 11 phone calls, 3, 1. There are inconsistencies. And the other thing that I saw, this lead has a tag on it as no plans, not buying now. Why are they in tried to contact? So the biggest advice that I could give you to help improve your conversations is when you go into your platform, look at the leads. I'm going to X these out. Look at the leads that are in new and tried to contact. And let me just apply that filter now that I read that. There's 985 in the system that have never been spoken to supposedly. This one's okay. Well, that's agent locator lead. I'm going to pull up registration.
Well, some of them are old, actually, Bev.
Okay. And that's okay. Old leads are great. So explain a trash. Okay, 3 years ago. Incubation time with a lot of internet leads is 5 years. So what denotes a lead that's in tried to contact that's not set? I guess where was this lead generated from? Do we know?
Oh, sorry, that almost looks like it would be an import of something just based on what I'm seeing in the blur. It doesn't look like it's a full URL. We also don't have a phone number on that lead. So a lot of, you can see the first two, one has no number, the second one has maybe 3 digits. So this could be consistent with like an old database where we had only emails. Array had only emails. I'm just suggesting that that's possibly, because I've noticed that a lot with other imports with other clients. So import, and a lot of their imports don't have phone numbers. They just have emails.
Actually, this one was, no, this one, yeah, this one was an import. No, actually came in as Crystal, it came in actually on, from Richmond Hill Market.
Oh, so
Yeah.
that is, because they're not
Yeah.
on search, they're on old searches, but all their searches have stopped. You can see it's like 2 months ago. Emails have not been sent for at least 2 months.
Yeah, because there's 67 emails sent and no response. So maybe I stopped it. Maybe this is the one that I stopped. Because I didn't have the phone number for it, so I called in. I tried to email them and that nobody answered, nobody responded, even though they opened the email, but I stopped it.
And these are ones that I would attempt to re-engage. I love old leads. My go-to script is, hey, at one point you were looking at homes in Toronto. Just wondering if you've ever found anything or if you're still in the market.
Yeah, we can do that too.
Super easy. Or you can now, if you have the phone numbers, you can send a mass text, something similar.
Yes,
Just
so
curious
you
if you're
can
still
filter.
looking for a home in whatever city and use the short code, or if you guys already found something.
Yep. So you can go to your filter if you want to send a mass email to everybody, pull up unknown valid email. If you want to send a mass text, unknown valid phone number. If you want to make the phone call, unknown valid phone number. Or yeah, unknown or a valid phone number, make your phone calls. So always be paying attention to your new leads, to your tried to contact leads, and be moving those people through where they need to go. Because I promise you, there are leads that have gotten forgotten about.
Oh, I'm pretty sure.
985.
And the old leads are more willing to have conversations with you.
Because they're not getting blown up on the phone.
Mhm.
You're going to have way more engagement of people answering the phone. And you
Do
can't screw it up.
Do you have time to go through some of them?
Not now. We're actually over time.
Oh, okay.
Crystal, this is what
Mhm.
we can do if we want to get them back on.
Mhm.
We now have a plan of action. I love calling old leads. We can certainly get them back on and start
Mhm.
calling some of these.
Yeah, if we want to, I'll look at the, what is the calendar?
Schedule.
Gosh, we're already January. My gosh,
Here.
what is wrong with all of us? So it'd be the 5th of January would be the next one.
Works for me.
All
Yeah.
right.
Guys,
Awesome.
Don't not work them. because we're going to be calling them,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not going to be able to call them all. Usually on a live, I get through about 20-ish.
Yeah.
Maximum, yeah. No, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start assigning them to the team.
Mhm.
Because there's a bunch of them. I'm gonna start assigning them to the team in a bulk, and then we go from there.
Yeah, and then you guys just make sure you're updating the phone validities. So if they don't have a phone number or it's just like not enough digits, just mark them as invalid. That way, if you are planning on sending out any mass communications, you're not attempting to send them communication to a non-existent phone number.
You guys are,
Yeah.
you guys are ready for a big number of leads?
Hey, I'm in.
Everybody's shaking their head. Yeah.
I'm in. Hey, last time we did a bulk group of this, Ray, we had some good numbers. I mean, I was able to contact about 50% of that grouping that we did just a little while ago. So it's definitely worth it.
Okay, let's do it.
Fantastic. Remember, the line is, hey, at one point you were, a while ago, you
Let's
were
do it.
looking at homes. Just wondering if
Perfect.
you're still in the market or if you found something.
Mhm.
Love it.
Sure, let's do it.
Go get it, guys. Always a pleasure.
Okay,
Yes.
so Crystal, you're gonna send the invitation.
Thanks,
for-
Beverly.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I will send those
Okay.
over to you. Absolutely.
Bev, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure, and Merry Christmas to all of you, and I'll see you next year.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Yeah, alrighty. Bye,
Merry
guys.
Christmas.
Bye.